There are many interesting stories involving Fred. I remember I got quite interested in the ploughing engine, which was a big Fowler engine. In fact, it was the biggest traction engine at any rally. They were massive. They were used in pairs to pull a plough across fields. So they were ugly engines, but there was something very formidable and very powerful about them. And there was one coming up for sale, which was, we think that it wanted a lot of work doing on it, but it was worth seeing, and it was down in Somerset. So Fred and I agreed to drive down there, or for me to drive him down there. And we looked at this engine, which was virtually under bales of hay with chickens and things in a barn. It was in a real rough state. In fact, there was a chicken in the smoke box, and we took eggs home from the smoke box, which he said it'd be lovely for his breakfast in the morning. Anyway, on the way back, we were driving that evening through the Cotswolds, and we saw a pub. And he said, "Come on, Rod," he said, let's have a pint in that pub." He said, "It looks a good pub, that does." So I thought, this is going to be difficult, because once you get him in a pub, you couldn't get him out. So we drove into this pub, all big posh Bentleys and Jaguars. And he said, "It's a bit of a posh pub, this is," he said. "Think we'll be all right?" I said, "Yeah, come on, let's get in." So we went in, and of course, he was well known by then, and everybody wanted to buy Fred a pint and chat to him and everything, and that was it. And then a rather tweedy lady came up and said, "You know, Fred," she said, "we have an engine back at the hall." She said, "And we've got it in a glass case. It's a model," she said. "It's a model locomotive that we used to have running round the hall years ago, round the grounds. Would you like to see it?" "Oh, yes," he said, "love. Yes, love," he said, "I'd love to see that." So I said, "Well, would you like to come back to the hall?" We said, "Yes, we'll follow you." So she set off in a Jaguar, whatever it was, and we set off, and half the pub came behind us. And we drove through the countryside and along this long, big wall that went on for miles until these imposing gates and up this gravel drive. He said, "Bloody hell," he said, "there's some big pad up here," he said, "cock." I said, "Yeah." So we drove up, and there was this big, stately home, and she got out and led us in, and we met her husband. I forgot what his name was. It was George or Derek or something like that. And he said, "Oh," he said, "would you like a malt?" So we both had malt. We all had malt whiskies. "Come into the library," he said, "I'll show you the engine." So we went into the library, and there in the middle of this beautiful library lined with books, with lovely wooden parquet floors and lovely big carpet over the middle of it, and right in the middle was a stand with a glass case, and in this case was this, well, it looked like a Victorian single-wheeler locomotive with a big tall chimney and a big brass dome. And on top of this was a big lazy ginger cat asleep. So she said, "There it is, Fred, that's our engine. Dodie, my son, used to drive it around the grounds years ago. In fact, it was built by my grandfather for the local railway, because he was the director of the railway company." So Fred looked at it, he said, lovely," he said, "I bet that would still steam up, you know." She said, "Would it, Fred?" He said, "Yeah, that would steam up. Still, it's in good nick." She said, "Well," "we'll steam it up, shall we? It would be lovely to just to have it working again." He said, "Have you any coal, love?" She said, "Yes." So we get all these little lumps of coal and break them up and put them in the firebox. He said, "Have you got a hairdryer, love?" She said, "Yeah." So, and then we get about 4 or 5 of the guys from the pub, and we lift it out of the case and put it on the parquet floor on we get some wooden chocks so the wheels aren't on the floor, and we light the fire, and with the hairdryer on the chimney we start to get the thing going. And incidentally, we obviously fill the boiler with water. Then we're all standing drinking our malts. We heard a tremendous hissing noise, and the thing steamed up. And Fred, love," he said, "she's a bloody good steamer," he said. So he walks over to it and starts fiddling with it, sits on the tender, and all of a sudden the wheels start going round like that. It comes off the chocks and starts chuffing across the bloody floor, with Fred trying to stop it. Then it goes on the carpet, across the carpet, throwing bits of carpet up, bangs against a lovely spiral wooden staircase on a stand, which was to go up to look at the books, breaks that, and it's against the wall, going with wheels going round like that, bits of carpet coming out, steam, water, the cats running round the bloody room, round the walls, yowling, this woman saying, "Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God." Anyway, Fred managed to stop it. He said, "The bloody regulator came off, love," he said. "I couldn't get my fingers in," he said, "it was so small." So anyway, that was it. We left quite rapidly, went back to the pub. The landlord said it was the most hilarious thing that had happened in years, and that was it.